Hello and welcome to my second pet video. If you haven't watched the first one, I recommend you do that, but specifically just to get a little pet follower from like whatever video game. It could, the last video shows you how to rip, but once you get to like the Unity editor stuff, you can come back to this video because I made it real streamlined, better package, and basically just made it really easy to set up. And that'll be what this video is about. I do hope you enjoy. And as a little bonus, I show you how to do this. Bop. Yep, this is a squishy head. Yeah. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope with this new updated prefab with everything you need in it that you can actually get things put together. So yeah, see you in the actual installation. Alright, and here we go with my pet update. This should be a lot easier than it was last time. I just kind of have a folder here of all the things you'll want to have to import, the final IK stub, the Avatars 3.0 manager, and I did take the actual follower and the raycast prefab, and I kind of put them both, so I have all that set up for you already. So let me go show you how to install that now. So if we go in and get that, so first I like to do the final IK just because things rely on it. I like to do that first. Alright, and then after you've got all that in, that's good. There is one thing that's a bit weird to install, so you want to create a folder, name it editor, or really whatever. I suppose you don't even need to make the folder, but yeah. So when it comes to this animation hierarchy editor, yep, that's a thing. So you want to just drag this in here, and as long as it's somewhere in the folders, it should show up. Alright, so now for installing our pet, I have already prepared Yamper, as you would see in the other video how to do so. And you should have a little pet package folder. So I'm just gonna throw this in here. Then you want to right click, unpack prefab, take everything in here and just drag it onto your avatar just in the base. Then you can go into follower, container, and find your guy, put it here. Alright, and so now you can have your little guy there, scale him however you want, and then we'll want to make our effects work. So you want to go to Avatars 3.0 Manager, throw in your avatar, and here we have in our pet package a pet effects. So I'm assuming you already have an effects controller. So you just click add animator to merge, throw it in here, and then merge on current, and that'll add the parameters and all these. And a lot of this is from, like I said, those other VR Labs prefabs, the follower and the, well, I guess the animation stuff wouldn't be from the IK thing, but yeah. So now that you've got your effects, it's always good to check this and click right default on if it's weird, and then you can go to here just to make sure you have the right parameters, throw that in here, copy parameters just to make sure that they're in there, and then when it comes to your pet submenu, you will want that on your avatar as well. If you go into his actual expression menu by double clicking like that, and this one doesn't have any controls, but you just make a new control, name it pet menu or whatever and make it a sub menu. And if I go back into here and throw that in, it should get thrown in. That one. Yep. And then that should do it. You can add an icon there if you like. But yeah, that'll get you your little pet submenu. And everything should be working without animations. I'll show you in a minute. But, you know, just to check, you can enable the Avatar 3.0 emulator, go in game, and you should see that things are moving like that. Now, this is the fun part. You may remember in my last tutorial that getting the animations was a bit of a pain. Well, I decided to go through Yamper and get all of the animations, whether they can be used or not, because I want to show you that now all of these things can be made to work as a pet all at once. Because if we just go to Window, Animation Hierarchy Editor, and select them all, and then you can throw this guy in here just to make sure that you've got everything. And then you say armature here, and then you can say follower slash, and you'll want to see this right up here is what you want to do. So follower slash container slash pet slash yamper anim slash armature. Again, make sure you do that, and then you can click replace root, and it'll take a few seconds depending on how many animations. And once that finishes, everything should be green, which is wonderful. So that will do it. Now every one of these animations can be used. Alright, once you've made all the animations, you've changed the route, you can even go in and like click any random one, and then you can press F2 and you'll see follower, container, pet, everything. So, you know, it's all done for you. Now you'll see in your effects that you have this pet anim layer, and that will have sort of like an animation set up for you already, so you don't have to worry about it. So we find our run animation, throw it here, then you double click the idle to go into here, and you have your idle animation. Then you'll have your idle animation you can drag into this one. And then, just for the sake of checking, we can press play on this. And then you'll see that the animation is working properly. It'll run when you move, and it'll stay when you stay. That should work perfectly fine, but you might have noticed in the actual animation layers, we've got these little guys, and you can put whatever animations you want in there. Like there's this little woof one. There's a spin one that's really cute and like a little oof. And then you can add more by doing the same thing. But if we go into here, and we check it out, you know, animation's still working fine. But we can go into our pet menu and click follower animations and click the other animations, and it'll do them. Like, isn't that just adorable? Yeah. And that should do you. So, you know, now you have your follower all set up. All right, and with that set up, you should be good to go with your pet in general. But here I'm going to make a bonus thing. So I'm going to show you how to make your pet squishy, either just the head or you can even do the whole thing. You'll want to probably start with creating an animation for which one you want to do. Just going to throw that in here. Pet squish, and then you can record it. And then press R and you can get out the scale tool and click on the thing you want to scale. So that's like an origin issue, I guess. Okay, yeah. So if you want your whole thing to squish, you can click the armature in here. Should do it. Then you can click this and you can click it all the way down. You want to see what's changing over here and just probably make it like just 0.01 or 0.1, and that should do it for you if you want the whole pet to squish. I kind of like it when the when just the head squishes. So I'm just gonna delete that, go into the armature, go through everything, origin, waist, hips, or yeah, the spine, neck, and then the head, which rotations get all weird with Pokemon, as it would seem. So if I do this, then his head goes blup, and for whatever reason that's the X coordinate now. Do just whatever looks good. This will be like the full squish. Which actually for Yamper specifically, so his head doesn't go into his little neck thing too much. Has to be a little more. But yeah, basically that's what it'll look like if your pet's head is squished. And then you can go to frame 1. Then we want to create a new clip, pet no squish. Create another animation, and then you want to just go into whatever you changed, move it so that there's another one in the recording, and then just make sure the scale goes back to 1. And then that will give you your animations you need. Now in order to work the magic, what you want to do is, I always like to create it on the pet itself. Let's see, you could put it really wherever, but you want to go and right click and create empty, press F2, name it dynamics, or no, that's for Fizzbones, like before. You want to name it receivers. I just like to put it like in individual game objects, and then you do a contact receiver. You can just type that in to set it up. Now if your root transform, if you wanted to do the whole thing, you'd throw the armature in here, and then you'd size the sphere appropriate to your little guy. If I were to do Yamper here, probably not that way. I'd probably try to move it. So the whole thing is the center of the sphere is where it'll be most prominent. So you want to cover your pet in a sphere, but not too much. So in fact, maybe even you want to do a capsule like this, something like that. You can test it out and tweak it in game. I'm just gonna do the head, so like I showed in the animation earlier. So you would go and drag the head in here, and for that it needs a much smaller thing, and you want to get like as close as possible to their actual head size. And then usually you don't want to touch it, but I think I'm gonna move just this X one down just a touch. Yeah, like that. Because the closer you can get it, the more believable it will be as like a little head squish. And then you add collision tags. I like to add foot and hand so that you can, like, you know, if someone has full body, they can like take their foot and just kind of boop it on the head. Then you want to click proximity on receiver type, and then parameter. Actually, follower dot. And so you can type follower.squish in here or whatever you want. Just remember what it is. And in fact, just to be safe, Control C, go into your parameters and add a float parameter and copy that there. Yeah, that should do it. And then while you're here, you want to add another one. Just so you can toggle it later. Then you want to add another layer. And make that 1. And then you want to find your animations. Just drag in pet no squish to start off with. And then create state from new blend tree. And then you can make a transition there and back. And have the condition be do squish. And remove your exit times. Make sure it's true and false, otherwise it'll be weird. And then you have your blend tree. So what you want to do is add motion field twice, and then pet no squish in the top, pet squish in the bottom. So in the blend tree, what you want to do is you want to make the parameter follower.squish there. And then what you want to do is go into your parameters like that, and then just make sure you have follower dot do squish as a bool. So, you know, it'd probably even be a good idea to just go in here, Control C, Control V, just to make sure it's the same. I like to save that and put it default as on. That's what I like because, you know, I just like having it squishy. And alright, now that we have that in our parameters, we can go to the expressions menu and the pet submenu, and this is where you'll find all of the things for your pet. You can add a control, call it pet squish. You can add a texture if you want. Make it a toggle and make the parameter do squish, and then that should have it so that you have your whole toggleable squish. In order to test it, we will create an empty and then add component, context sender, and then have it just send a hand thing. And then we want to reset the position so that we know where it is. And it's very big for a hand, so you can make it small if you want. But then we can just start the game. We can put, you know, check everything's working. The head should not be squished yet. But if we go into this game object we made, and and place it on his head. If depth perception up, you can see that it is not quite working. I think that's just a weird quirk of the editor. But yeah, you can see that it squishes his head. It should work fine in game. Yeah, see? Now, I think that was just the editor being weird, but yeah, just imagine that's someone's hand. Bloop, 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 bop, 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 pop, 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 pop. Yeah. So that should be all you need, though, to make your pet and have it squishy. There's a couple of other things you can do, like, you know, if you need to change the eyes on the Pokemon specifically, there is, like, some UV stuff you can do, but that's with specific shaders, because I don't think the default ones have that. But yeah, that's like all sort of like advanced stuff you can get into later. For now, that should do you for your little pets. Much easier.